Hey guys, so for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a series of videos where I just basically grind at Apex, trying to get better at the game with some of my buddies and just kind of show my progress and how good I'm getting over time. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe so you can see more of it. And I put a lot of work into this video, so be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. And here you go, Apex grinding days 1 to 4. The first day of this challenge is pretty much just all around terrible. It was a lot of the same thing happened over and over again, landing and dying quickly. And it wasn't aided by the fact that pretty much every match was a warm-up, because I could not seem to find a good queue to get into matches at decent times. And pretty much every queue took 20 to 30 minutes just to get into a match. I am going to do a little bit of a VOD review on this one. I pretty much already cut it down to the decently important clips, but pretty much this entire game I saw nobody and finally caught somebody on my scanners and looted around them, got up on this building, and didn't take a fight that I should have taken. Just because as a solo, one of the biggest things I've learned is don't worry about throwing away matches, just take the fights. That's the whole point, is just to get better. Then I kind of practiced a little bit of parkour on my wall jumps. Then I tried to engage in this fight, but missed quite a few shots and didn't get a kill or a knock that I probably should have, in all honesty. But then, just to not get forced out into the open, I tried to go around this side and flank. But I just ended up getting myself killed because I missed an entire clip from my R301. And this is where we get into day 2. In these clips, me and my friend were running duos, and we were in pretty much the perfect spot that we wanted to be in. We had a view on everybody, nobody could get a shot off on us. And we could peek whenever we wanted with little to any risk. We decided to move over to these rocks though, giving up that positioning to force our opponents out into a bad spot. But as you'll see in a few seconds, they just ended up getting themselves killed to ring and left us with one other squad. This duo forced up against the side of the ring. It was a pretty easy chase. I got in a good arc star, and that pretty much led the fight from there. We downed the first teammate and rushed the caustic.
Antagonist down.
Eat an arc star.
This match, however, was quite a bit more chaotic. Since we were right next to that tower for most of the end game, we sat on top of that tower using scans to figure out where the next zones would be and secured our positioning for probably about the last 3 zones. But eventually, the zone caught up to us and forced us out of our tower, and we tried to get an early rotation to the next circle, in which we were pretty much holding a position in the middle of the circle with the entire left and right side, about 180 degrees of enemies, trying to force us out of our current position, while trying not to get shot from any other side, because there was not much good cover except for these bunches of rocks and trees in those crates over there. So then I solo rushed the revenue team, trying not to get flushed out by them, and it ended up being pretty successful. I got up close and personal with them, did a lot of damage, knocked one of them, and pretty much pave the way for my teammate to come in and finish off the squad. And he's one of my buddies in real life, so me and him kind of joke that my job is to rush in, be stupid, act like a wrecking ball, and allow for him to come in and finish off the squad. But this clip pretty accurately shows that we pretty much counter each other perfectly. He's there to save me when I do something stupid, and I'm there to do a bunch of damage because he doesn't tend to rush. So it makes for a pretty good duo, and that's what helps us get clips like this. But back to the VOD. I see I believe it was a bloodhound up in the top corner in that window, so I send a scan and we see one person on the scan. I tried to scan off to the side using my passive to see if I could find a teammate, but I couldn't. I scanned all around us, didn't find anything, and so we thought it was a solo. But we were surprised when we opened the door because we saw a Mirage also shooting. They caught my teammate off guard and they were able to knock him. But a scan revealed that both parties were extremely low, and I was able to knock one pretty much instantly, get in there, and finish off the Bloodhound. And while we did win, I would like to point out that on my part, I probably shouldn't have been so fruitless with that rush on the Bloodhound because there are a lot of better ways that I could have rushed him that would have led to me risking myself less. So this is day 4. Day 3, I did not do much recording just because it was, for one, I didn't really get any matches in until much later, and it was only 1 or 2 matches and they weren't very serious, so I didn't really record them. But I started the day off with a warm-up, and one thing I did notice while doing this, and there is I do believe a clip later me using the bow check, is me and him, my duo that is, Mr. Confuzzled, just kind of joking around. We're doing bow check battles, and like me right here, I'm practicing with the bow check because I learned how good of a weapon it can be simply based on the fact that I was using it against him in the battles and winning them, and it kind of built up my confidence with it. So I think one good way to practice with weapons and get a lot better with them is just to play around with friends in the firing range and just restrict yourself to one gun. Just even if you're just goofing off and having fun is probably a good way most of the time to get some kind of practice in with the weapons and boost your ability with them no matter what gun you're using. Finally, when I was finished warming up, I was ready to hop into some solo matches, and my duo was able to get on, so we started running duo matches. And while I understand that a lot of this is going to be solo, so this isn't quite how most of the videos are going to be, might not be necessarily the same thing. I feel like it's pretty obvious from when me and him first started playing together, maybe about 2 weeks ago, to now, just how much not only our teamwork, but our individual capabilities and our abilities to like kind of counter each other and keep each other in check have improved just by 1, playing together, and 2, just playing in general. We've definitely improved a lot, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying about the practice. Even if you're just goofing off, it helped us get a lot better a lot quicker just by having fun while we were playing. Also, one thing, because we said each other's names quite a bit and other reasons in our gameplay, I'm not showing the volume because for some reason I can't get the chat and the gameplay audio to separate, but I will leave in the parts of the audio that I can put into the video. Because we were making callouts and stuff this whole time, I just don't want to put his name in the video if he doesn't want it to be in there. But in this match, we heard some shots. We hadn't really gotten much action this entire game, so we tried to rush the teams and set up an ambush. But the ring was coming, they were moving slow, so we tried to run, and they caught up to us and wiped us out before he had a chance to burn out using his ult. And in this clip, we landed stream try, but weren't able to get any loot, so we both bailed, went over these buildings over here. I was able to grab an armor swap and a weapon and kill just a random fuse that walked through, and he kept yelling that there was a fuse coming, so I believe that was a fuse he met, but there was an entirely different fuse who almost got the jump on me and killed me. After healing up a decent bit, getting armor and weapons, we decided to go back out into the fight. We threw thermites and shot at this team to try and mess them up and do as much damage as we could before engaging the fight, but I missed my jump stupidly, and my team was pretty much left to go in there on his own for a few seconds. They got some shots off on him, but not too much. We went up there. I did some decent damage. He did some decent damage. And then we just pushed forward. And he decided to repeat here, and it got him knocked, but I was able to go through on the other side and finish the fight because we did a really good job of rushing them, keeping them on their toes and getting them low. But when I came over to revive him, and I was able to successfully revive him, they didn't die, so we thought there were two other teammates coming for us, but there wasn't. They just had a self-revive, and they almost got the jump on us. And I ended up giving him my self-revive because I had the backpack, so I wouldn't really need it anyways. Just keep one of us with one of those. And right here, when we get attacked by this team, I scanned them and called out to him that there was enemies. But I started paying attention to loot again, not thinking they were going to rush us. And they got the jump on me, rendering a lot of my health useless because he wiped it out before I could react, which means I didn't really get to use it in the actual gunfight that we had, which probably could have turned the tides of this fight if I just paid a little bit more attention. So that's definitely on me, but he almost managed to get off his self-revive by me just trying to be as distracting as I could and him hiding from the Loba. But she found him, killed him, and that was the end of that match. And here we dropped Hanger again, sticking to our guns. This is pretty much what we did for the entire time that we were playing duos for both days, just because it was funny and it was just what we decided to do. And so I was able to get my hands on a Havoc pretty quickly and craft myself a turbocharger because it was in the daily for the replicator that day, which was pretty nice for me because I really like using the Havoc, especially in late game. But once I got that, we started moving around. We finished shooting up that area, and we'd been moving around for quite a bit at this point. And this was pretty late in the game when we spotted these two. He re-jumped the tower because by the time I was getting on it, he was already jumping off it. So our landings were a little staggered, but I was able to land on this team, get some scans, figure out what kind of health situation they had going on, and fire out some shots. He was able to sneak behind them because they were focused on me, which wasn't my plan. I believe it was his plan. He knew what he was doing by doing that, but I just kind of tried to shoot as much as I could. He used that to his advantage. I went ahead and finished this fuse while he was looking for another team because, like the last one, we kind of expected there to be another team, but it was just the other teammate self-reviving. We were able to shut that down. He got his kill, and we were good. This clip, we'd already looted up the death boxes of the two enemies that we had just killed, and he got shot at by a player. We had no idea where they were, couldn't really see them, but we decided to rush because we believe there's only one. And after a little bit of searching and some scanning, we were able to find them. They did try and run, but you can't really escape a seer. And once I finally found this guy, I was able to get off a few shots. To be completely honest, I probably shouldn't have pushed this just because I very easily could have died, but he ended up jumping in front of me, causing the Octane to waste quite a few shots, and we were able to successfully kill him. We had to pretty hurriedly loot that Octane and run from the storm, but he was able to get off a scan just in time to tell us where the next circle would be. And we started heading there when we went back to our tower to see if we could find anybody, and these two started shooting at us. I went around to flank them, but lost sight of them, and then missed every shot known to man, and only dealt a small bit of damage, and wasn't able to get much information from this. But after this, a third party started to come in from the right side, and attacked my teammate, got them decently low, So we decided to make a break for the jump tower and let these two teams fight out, not quite realizing yet that these were the last two teams. So we jumped. I almost died. Lost a lot of shields to that, and was pretty worried we might not make it out the tower. But we were able to, ran over to these rocks to heal up, and then by the time we realized it was the last two squads, the fight was almost over, but we decided to push back in anyways. So at this point, we started trying to push in and get the jump on them, but that wasn't very successful.
Where?
We pretty much suspected that
Please.
they had no idea where we were, and we would be able to sneak up behind them
No, I
and kill
mean
them
like
pretty
ability
easily.
scan.
But once we started this gunfight,
like
they
your
reacted
tactical
quickly and were
ult.
able to counteract us with the Bangalore ult. But that meant that at this point, the Bangalore used her ult. The Bloodhound used his scan recently, but would most likely get another one during the fight. And we were
I
able
see him.
to
Right here.
push this fight pretty much
I tagged him.
senselessly.
I hit him. I hit one. I think they shot. They shot. Oh yeah. That's the Bangalore. I'm flying up. All right, just stay behind this truck. Yo, what is that?
Drawing back the veil.
Oh, where is that?
Reloading. Recharging my shield.
Oh, left side. Right.
Reloading.
Didn't.
Enemy down.
First stop. I'm popping medkit.
Your veil.
Marking, please.
Recharging shields.
Enemies right here.
They went behind the truck.
Heart sees clearly. Reloading.
All right, I'm going around. I hit him 10. Let's go! Oh.